Hi Class 5, welcome to your literacy lesson. Now today we're going to be looking at relative clauses. We've already looked at relative clauses in year 5, but we're going to have to go over them to see if we can get them now by ourselves, okay? Now, a relative clause. Do you remember what a relative clause is? Hit pause and just have a think and see if you can remember the work we've done in year 5 about relative clauses. Okay, so relative clauses. The clause bit of it is a piece of information that is added into a sentence to give it more specific information. Usually the clause doesn't make sense by itself, it's just been taken and added somewhere into the sentence to make it a bit better and more informative. The relative bit tells the reader which part of the sentence the clause is relative to. So which part of the sentence that the clause is linked to, what it's talking about. So it might be a person, it might be an object, it might be a building, it might be a group of people. Just it tells the reader what that clause is linked to or relative to. So that's why it's called a relative clause. It's a clause, piece of information that is relative to something in the sentence. Now, this sentence here, Mr. Salmon is ready to go in his garden. You might have already realised something about me which makes it clear that I'm ready to go in my garden. Okay, so hit pause and see if you can have a think and add a relative clause in this sentence that would add more information to tell the reader that I'm ready to go in my garden. Okay, so hit pause, have a think. Before you hit pause, I'll give you a clue. The relative clause is going to go in there. Okay, so hit pause, have a think, and see if you can come up with something. Okay, so you've taken a few minutes to think of a relative clause that we are going to add in there. Now, the obvious one would be, I think, that I'm wearing my hat and sunglasses. Okay, now that information is relative to me. Okay, so it's going to be Mr. Salmon, who is wearing his hat and sunglasses, is ready to go in his garden. Now, we're not finished yet because there's something very, very important that we need to add to this relative clause to make it make sense. Can you think what that is? Hit pause and have a think and see if you remember from our classes in year 5 to see what this relative clause is missing. Okay, now we've had a think. What it is that is missing is commas. So it would have a comma after Mr. Salmon and at the end of this. Okay, so the sentence would look a little bit like this. Okay, so we've had the sentence up here, and I think in year 5 what we would call that, it's a sentence, but it's a boring sentence. It doesn't have lots of information in, okay? Now we've added a clause, which is this bit. It gives us extra information to make the sentence more informative. Also, it's a relative clause. It is relative to me, to Mr. Salmon. And this word who tells us that it's relative to me. Okay? So the sentence as a whole, Mr. Salmon, who is wearing his hat and sunglasses, is ready to go in his garden. Now, I'm going to give you some sentences after this to see if you can add your own relative clauses into the sentences. Remembering that it's going to be a piece of extra information relative to something in the sentence. It doesn't always have to be a person. It could be an object in your house. It could be a building. It could be an animal. It's just got to be relative to something in the sentence. Okay? So next you're going to see a screen with sentences, and I would like you to add a relative clause where I have put the arrow. Remember, it has to be relative to something in the sentence, and you also need to remember your commas. Okay? Good luck, and I'll see you soon. So, now you've had a go at those sentences yourselves, you can see how close they were to the answers that I did. They will be on the video at the end. But now what I would like you to do is have a look around your house, have a look around the garden, have a look out your window, and see if you can see things that you can write sentences about with a relative clause. So if I'm looking out the window now, I could say, the car, which is sitting on the drive, is ready to be taken out for a drive to the shops. Okay, so it could be something in your house, in your garden, or out the window. Have a go yourself, make up your own, be as adventurous as you can. Okay, and I hope you have fun doing them. Remember the answers to the sentences that I gave you. My answers are going to be at the video at the end. Okay, have a good one, Year 5. I'll see you later. Now class is over, I can go in the garden. Bye!